Hello, guys. Hello. How are you? Um, Today I wanted to have a little bit of a chit chat about um, all of these books that I have read recently. If I had to introduce to you this stack of books, I would have to say that these are something that I'm trying out right now. Um, for me, all of these books belong to the funny category because that's how I felt when I read these books. Um, I like to read a lot, but it happened to me that I was kind of getting tired of reading because, you know, everyone recommends to you the classics. So that's what I did. I just read classics during my entire life, very old books that usually have like a moral story to them, or they teach you something, or they explain how life was on a certain period of time, or books that teach you things, the classic. That's why the classics are still recommended, are still being purchased today, and they are still getting read because they have something to teach you or something to give you. So that's what I was reading during my entire life, and it got to a point where I got tired of reading. I was like, just tired. So I stumbled upon this category of books by accident. I don't know if you know, some years ago on Netflix got really popular a new series that came out back then that was called Bridgerton. So I watched that, and I remember when it first came out, there was available only the season one. So if you wanted to watch season two, you had to wait 2 years or 3 years. I don't remember how long it took the second season to come out, but it was a long period of time. So that's how I ended up reading all of these books because I couldn't wait to see season two come out in many years after. So I decided to buy the book that is said to be the inspiration for the second season. So that was this one, The Viscount Who Loved Me. This was Anthony's story, and I really loved the story. It was nothing really life changing. It was not a life changing book. It was just funny. It was, a story based on a long period of time ago when that time flirting with someone was not allowed until marriage. So, that's the basic plot line of this series of books. So, I read this. I was amazed by how easy I found it reading funny book, a book that wasn't considered a classic. And I thought, let's give these books a try. And I found online a lot of books and I just started reading them. So, after this one, that was the starting point of all of the books, I chose to read this one. And until today, this one remains my favorite of all of the ones that I am going to show you. This is called The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary. This is a really funny story involving two characters that are going to share a flat, but they don't know each other. So a guy and a girl gets to share one apartment that only has one bedroom. So that's the thing. Okay, so I think I'm not making any spoilers because that's basically what is written on the back side of the book. And a little bit of spoiler is what makes the book worth it. So, let me read you the back side of the book. Their friends think they are crazy, but it's the perfect solution. Leon occupies the one bed flat while Tiff is at work in the day, and she has the run of the place the rest of the time. But with obsessive ex-boyfriends, wrongly imprisoned brothers, and of course, the fact that they still haven't met yet, it seems this flat share is more complicated than expected. So yeah. That's the thing. And I really loved this book. I found myself wanting to turn the page to see what's going to happen between these two. And it was really funny. So this one encouraged me to buy another book from the same author, which is Beth O'Leary, as I said. And um, that one is called The Switch. I loved this book too, but I loved the other one a lot more. This was a funny story too, but this one got like family issues involved. So I don't want to make any spoilers, so you guys can read them if you want. So I'm just going to read the back, okay? So this one says, Lena is too young to feel stuck. Eileen is too old to start over. It's time for the switch. After blowing a big presentation at work, Lena takes a 2-month sabbatical and escapes to her grandmother Eileen's house for some overdue rest. Eileen is newly single and about to turn 80. She would like a second chance at love, but her tiny Yorkshire village doesn't offer many eligible gentlemen. A life swap seems the perfect solution. So, yeah, this is a really good story too. And I'm planning on reading all of the books that Beth already has written because I really love her style of explaining things, and I find that she makes the reading really easy, you know. And I know that she has some other books. I don't know the title of everyone. I I am planning on reading The Road Trip and The No Show. So that's the only ones that I know. But I think she has some other books too. I don't remember exactly. But I really love her style of telling stories, and it's really engaging, with the reader. The next one that I want to talk about is I Was Told There Would Be Cake. This one is like, it's really small. It's really a fast reading, and I enjoyed it a lot. So I have a particular thing with this book because while I was reading this book, I felt like I was being watched through the window. You know what I mean? I felt that the story she was telling was taking little pieces of my personality, and I felt like I was getting observed. It has never happened to me before. Um, I never felt that I had so many things in common with a character, and I felt it with this one. Okay, let me read you the back of the book. So it says, from getting locked out of her flat twice on the same day, and baking a giant cookie in the shape of her boss's head, to playing bridesmaid for a long forgotten friend. Sloane Crosley is the kind of girl whose good intentions have a tendency to go hilariously awry. With sharp, original, and irresistible storytelling that confounds expectations at every turn, Crosley recounts her victories and catastrophes, finding seductive comedy and genuine insights in the most unpredictable places. So, yeah, I loved this one. It's kind of a funny read, you know? You can read this in like 2 days. And the last one that I have in this category of funny reads is this one. I wouldn't necessarily consider this funny because the stories that it's telling are, kind of bittersweet. But I have put this book in the same category because I have never read a book that wasn't, one of the big classics. You must read, you have to read this. And when I started with the other books, um, I was just like compulsively buying books, and I found, I don't know where, I found a list online that tagged international #1 bestsellers, and this one was in that list, and so I bought it to give it a try, and I really enjoyed it. But as I told you, this is kind of a bittersweet book. So it's called Three Women. It is written by Taddeo, which I have read that has other best-selling books, I think, but I have only read this one from her. So this book tells the story of three different women at three different stages of their lives. So one of the women is a teenager. She had experienced some trauma, and the book lets you see how she managed to get through life with that trauma and all of the problems that that issue has involved and have created to her. It was kind of inspirational because you get to see three different women struggling with their lives and struggling with not knowing what to do, what they are feeling, and where they are going in life. I think that's some issues that we all go through. We have to find out, what our lives are about. So the second story is about another woman who got raised, I think it was in New York. She was raised in New York in kind of a privileged home, and she talks about how her personality has developed because of her childhood, and she talks about how her life has been influenced by her childhood when her parents were a little bit absent. And so she tries to find out all by herself without any help, her sexuality, her identity, at what things she's good at. And she talks also about open minded relationships and the open minded relationship that she has with her husband. Okay, and the last story is about a woman who had a crush on a boy when she was in high school. She didn't end up with that guy. She married somebody else, and at one point in her adulthood life, when she has her children and she has a husband, she crosses paths with that high school crush. So that's the story that she tells. So this book talked about more in-depth issues than the other ones. I consider the other ones being just, a fun read, something to take your mind off, and this one is a little bit more in depth. So, out of all of these books that I showed you, this one is my favorite. I laughed out so hard with this one. Um, this book opened the door for me to this category of books. I have never before read something like these stories, and I really enjoyed them. And I would really like to know if you know any books that are similar to these stories, that are funny stories, easy reads. I would love to hear from you and maybe read one of your recommendations. So I hope you enjoyed this rambling about the books that I am liking at the moment. I hope I didn't make any spoiler. I hope you had a great time and that you found a little bit of peace and you got a little bit relaxed watching this video. I am really loving making these videos. It's like I found out a new passion. Okay,